Evening, folks. As you're coming in, if you can hear my voice, you can't see my screen because I'm not sharing. Let me share a screen. Now we're sharing as well. If you get yays to both, if you can raise your hand in the app so that we see that we are winning. Brilliant. Hands coming aplenty. I'm going to give everyone a minute or two to come in. Cool. So my name is Simon Brown, joined as always by Njabulo Nsibande for 3rd of February for our Follow the Trader. Just 2 quick points of housekeeping before we get into the gig. Videos, so we're putting them on Njabulo's Village Trader YouTube channel, so you can find them there. The link is in the email that goes out from Zoom ahead and after the event, and also they're popping up on Just One Lap. It's the same video. I'm just embedding the video from Njabulo's link to pull that through. So it'll be exactly the same video. You can get it at either. And then from a practical perspective, I was just chatting with Njabulo, 24 Feb is budget day, and that's also a Wednesday, so we should be having one of these on that budget day. Now I've got panels and it's going to be a crazy day, etc., so we thought we should shift it, and we'll move it to the Thursday, the 25th. So normally Wednesdays, but on budget week we will move it to the 25th, same time, 5:30, same place. We'll update so the alerts will all come out accordingly with that. Let's have a quick look at markets. These are my 2 equity CFD positions that are still drumbling along from respectively the 4th and the 11th of November. And it's actually a nice move today from Telkom, looking keen to move higher. If it can break up through, I'll move my stop loss up to around that sort of my buy level, which is about the 31 Rand level. Standard Bank, muddling along. Again, I need it to break, and when it sort of starts moving higher, I'll move my stop to around about that sort of 120 level. I'm leaving those 2 trades in. They'll trigger either at profit or at stop, and then I'll move the money across into the US dollar account. Ultimately, I'm going to put 2,000 US into this account. It's got 953 at the moment. That's enough for the trades that I'll be doing and for margin and the like. So I'm going to wait to see how much comes across from the ZAR account, and then I will top up. But I will do my risk on it as if it's $2,000. 2% is therefore $40 risk per trade. And there are a bunch of them. So I've pulled out all the indices that are available. There's a Nifty 50. There's my trigger. Remember the process. 7 goes through the 21, which is green through red. And then next day higher, that's my confirmation. So that is a confirming. Hong Kong didn't uncross, nothing happening there. France, I'm focusing on the Euro stocks. I'll get to that in a second. Brazil, looking but hasn't yet. China, so Australia, triggered. So there's my trigger candle, which has gone through. So we get the cross, that would have been yesterday, but I want the following day to be green. So we haven't confirmed on Australia. It is still live. We shall see what happens with that. Very, very close to a trigger here. UK 100, waiting and seeing. ZAR 40, waiting. It's bubbling along. Those lines are closing. We'll see what happens there. The Russell 2000 didn't uncross. Japan, Nikkei 225 didn't. Nasdaq 100. There's the S&P. And it went red on me. So there's my turn, but there's my S&P not playing games. So actually, earlier today, I looked at this and the pre-open was looking like it was going to go green, in which case I would have entered the trade. But Australia is playing, no, somebody play, Nifty 50. India, there we go. Thank you, India. So India is playing ball. So that is a confirmed trade. So let's enter the trade at this point in the equation. So I'm going long on this particular position. My stop loss will be the 21 MA, which is the red line. So my stop at price is 14252. 14252 is my stop. I am entering I can do this math in my head, but I always do it in a calculator because then I know that it's right, so that I don't make mistakes. I'm entering at 14,777, let's call it, minus 14252. So I am risking 525 points is my risk. I'm prepared to risk $40. So 40 divided 525 means I can essentially risk a point or 7.5 cents, and my pip cost is 10 US cents. So I'm slightly over the risk, and this is going to happen because of the I'm in dollars. On some of them, I can trade fractions. On some, I can't. And on India, it's saying to me, no fractions possible. So I'm just going to take one position that will give me my required level of risk, puts my stop loss in place. Everything's there. I don't have a take profit. Remember, my take profit is either a cross of the 721 or price through the 21. Truthfully, it'll be price through 21. So we hit place order, and all things equal, there it is. I am now long the Nifty 50. What I love about this is I have no idea about the Nifty 50. I know it's India, but aside from being India, and we're getting some vaccines from them, so we like India right now. Aside from that, I'm not up to speed on what's happening, etc. You can see almost immediately it's into slight loss. That is the spread. The spread in of itself, 3.5 points. So pretty much it's where I got in. The spread is suitably tiny. The sub-European indices, so Spain, France, I'm not going to be trading because I'm going to trade instead the Euro Stoxx 50. And that was particularly close. I'll keep an eye on this over the next sort of 20 odd minutes as we do this webcast. I'll also keep an eye on it over the next couple of hours to see how it goes, to see if I get that confirmation. As I say, a couple were confirming earlier. Yeah, US is under pressure. Nasdaq never uncrossed, and that's the Russell 2000 as well. So we'll see how it goes. We've got our first trade there. We are 3 in loss, but that's fine. We can live with that. As I said, no take profit, but it is just that simple. There's some, if I'm trading the S&P, and let's pretend we're going to buy, it's nice and simple. It's a backup point, because it's in dollars. As soon as we go and trade something else, of course, to Njabulo,
yeah, back.
I can hear you. Your camera just disappeared. So that's the indices. I will be trading indices on these going forward. It's a nice, it's a simple system. What I've done here is you just click on that little plus button in the app under settings, and you basically say to it, show me indices, and there they are. And then you just pick all the various different indices. Note that there are a bunch, for example, German DAX and then German DAX AUD, because Think Markets Australian, so they offer you a lot in Oz dollars. I have no interest in trading Oz dollars, so we'll leave that as it is. I also have no particular interest. They've put a US 2000 in because I had the ETF on that. Okay, I missed that. Let me have a quick squiz at that. US 2000. Yep, telling me exactly the same as the ETF, but let me take the ETF off because then I can actually trade the real index instead. Cool. So that's me done. Njabulo, over to you.
Quick question, Si, before I get into some charts. I see there you put a hard stop on the Nifty 50, and the actual stop on the 721 is a close below the 21. So at this moment, it's a touch and go, right?
Yeah, so, and I got to figure that what I should actually what I should be doing, and I should dig around in that. What I want here is a alert, because to your point, what I'm wanting is a close below, and it might touch and then run. So you're right. What I should actually do is stick an alert on it, and I can set alerts up here and rather put an alert on a price rather than, and there aren't any active, no surprises on that. So create an alarm on Nifty 50 when my bid price time frame is irrelevant, when my value is 252. And then I will, price, feed, bid, time frame, condition, equal to or less than, create, trigger on closed bar. Ah, sweet, closed bar. Nice, I like that. And there's my alert. No triggers yet. The issue, but the risk I'm going to run here is that, just to not let my computer overwhelm, is I don't always keep this app open. I open it, I have a look, see, I shut it again. I'm going to have to get into the habit. What I'll probably do is keep it open on my iPad, because then it can run and do.
Yeah. And my trick with that, in terms of if the price happens to trigger my stop and I'm not around, at least with the lazy, is to put an emergency stop far away.
I like that point. Cool. I'll adjust just in case. Typically, I'm checking this in, usually early morning, again during the course of the day, and then again in the evening, sort of around dinner time. But an emergency stop would actually work quite like
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, and I'm in profit. $8.
That was quick.
Love it. Hey, dude, don't get in the way of a bull market, man. It'll run you over.
Yeah. You might get short squeezed like GameStop.
Yeah. Quick question from Paul. Paul, you're asking why moving ZAR into US. The reason, I'll tell you why. Because to move ZAR to US, there's one spread that I cross, and I cross it once, and now I'm in US dollars. If I'm trading in ZAR, every time I do a US trade, I cross that spread to get in, I cross it to get out, and it just gets messy. It doesn't matter how small that spread is, it runs up in the fees. So, Paul, you're 100% right. I could trade these from my ZAR account. It's just that extra spread crossing. So that's why I moved it into dollars, just to save a little bit. Now, I paid some commissions to get into dollars, and I paid a spread to get into dollars, but those are one-off. Cool. Njabulo, to you.
Cool. So last week I got stopped eventually on African Rainbow. As you can remember, it's back in early September. I got stopped on that pullback there, but it seems to me it was just testing that 50-day exponential moving average. And moving forward, if my stop is close enough to the 15-day, I'll just put my stop just below. And then it triggered a couple of days later on this falling wedge. This is the bar that triggered me, but the risk-reward ratio didn't work, so I entered on the retest of the resistance of that falling wedge, and still underwater a little bit. My stop loss is just below the lows of the falling wedge, and incidentally, the very first time I entered into African Rainbow was the falling wedge. So perhaps it'll give me a nice run again. But yeah, still comfortable, a little bit underwater. I'm gonna stop below the lows of the falling wedge, give it a little bit of room as well below those lows. So that's good. Everything else is still just running just as well. BHP forming this nice bullish flag. I'm looking to add into this position as we break through that flag. Yesterday it did look like it was going to break, but came back. Today just looking to go even lower, but we'll see. We'll see as the days come. Capitec is actually one of my not so lacquer trades in terms of following a perfect trade, because the risk on this was rather a little bit higher than normal, sitting at about 4.5%, but not too bad. But it is quite bad not to follow your own rules sometimes. So as it breaks through this bull flag, I'll reduce that risk, putting my stop at that 12992. 1,292. Damn, if I can just say the numbers. Coronation still looking good, muddling along, going in the right direction on at the minute. Haven't moved my stop as yet, but that 45 rand 90-ish level is a place where I look to pull my stop as we break that high there. That high of around 49 rand. In fact, if we close above 50 rand, I'll pull my stop accordingly. Just out, man. They had a nice trading update today. Uh, beautiful.
Yeah, you're all stockpiling like crazy.
Yeah. And it's one of my oldest trades. I entered this trade back in the when we still, started the series. I'm still in the trade. I've adjusted my stop today at the close today. That's not the right one. Yeah, this one. Just below that 50-day exponential moving average and just below those lows there. And so what I'm waiting for before I can start adding into this position is, if I can jump back to the weekly chart, these two moving averages to cross, which is my 30 and the 60-week exponential moving average. I'm waiting for them to cross before I can start adding into this position. So I suppose I can now remove this triangle because I was using it to adjust my stop. Gold and gold miners still, and it broke that support there. I think I will get stopped on this trade, but we'll see. I'm not going to preempt that stop loss. I'll just wait until I'm actually stopped on this particular trade. Exaro, nice bullish engulfing candle there.
Yeah, nice candle there.
Yeah, and incidentally, very close to that 50-day exponential moving average. So holding that support, and as it breaks through 166, I'm going to add into this position. Foshini amongst the oldest. So it broke through that 102 level, came back to test it, and it's holding it now as support, which is good. And as it breaks again through that, just move that there. As it breaks through 110, I'll move my stop below that those lows there, just below that 50-day exponential moving average, and then as it starts to trend even higher. And similarly, to Distel, I'm waiting for these two moving averages to cross before I can start entertaining adding into this trade. And as you can see, there's a nice round bottom on Foshino, which is quite good. Gold and gold miners still not.
Dude, I spent 10 years not trading gold miners.
Yeah, gold and gold miners are not. But they seem to be holding this level of support, and similarly, gold as well seem to be holding the current levels of support. So maybe there's a trigger that will make gold run soon or not. We'll see. But I can't preempt. I can't exit the position based on how I feel at the moment.
Yeah. So Keith McLaughlin and I, because we both own gold Pan Af in our equity portfolios, sort of as a insurance / hedge. And what we have done is we have created a sort of fundamental matrix to see if we should, if gold is still a asset to hold. And it has weakened a bit since sort of August of last year, but it is still saying to continue holding. So we look at like the US 10-year versus inflation, the 50 versus 200 moving average, that sort of stuff. So sort of a bit of fundamental, bit of price in there.
Yeah. And doesn't gold have an inverse correlation with equities? When equities run, golds tend to fall and vice versa?
In the olden days, but I think that's been broken to a degree. And we saw in March last year, because of the liquidity, when things went down, when equities went down in March, everything went down. And the reason is people want cash, so they just sell what hasn't fallen. So if gold hasn't fallen, they sell it, and therefore it does fall. So Bitcoin, everything went down. So those inverse relations are not as strong as they used to be, sort of back in certainly the 80s and the 90s.
Got you. So I'm still long on Impala. Initial trade, a little bit in profit in terms of the stop loss. The stop loss is just above my break even. And as it breaks through that 221 level, I'm looking to
Mhm.
add, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 times it has been tested over 4 consecutive days, but that's neither here nor there. But as it breaks through that resistance, I'm looking to add into this position because the risk on the initial trade would have been reduced slightly.
Mhm.
And also I'll be adding into a winning position because that entry would be a slightly higher. Perhaps if we take out that high there at 227, as we close above that high, then I add into that position. And
Yeah.
based on price action, I'll see where that stop loss is. But at the moment, it's most likely going to be below those lows there, um, depending on how far. Let me see. Yeah,
Yeah.
depending on where that 50-day exponential moving average is at the time when I'm entering that position. Mondi, when I was looking at when I was having a quick gander at the charts in the morning, Mondi did look like it was breaking through that bull flag and it was starting to get a little bit excited, but it didn't. It just closed, just below that resistance of the flag, but that flag still remains valid. I'm looking to add into this position with an improved stop of around 352,
Mhm.
which is below that 50-day exponential moving average. Keep the same target, which increases the target without increasing the risk, because I'll be almost halving this risk. I think the remaining risk on the initial trade would be around 50 Rand, 40 Rand, something of that sort. And then I'll just adjust accordingly in terms of how much I'm risking in the new position. Northern holding the base of the ascending triangle as support, holding it quite well. It did worry me as it was falling. I thought it was going to break that 216 level, but it didn't. But I'm waiting for that breakthrough 216 for me to add into this position, and price action dependent. I'll put my stop accordingly. Real Bafokeng finally broke that 75 rand resistance. So I'm looking to add into this position. And as you can see, we made a new high. We did make a new high today on Real Bafokeng. So it seems like the sellers at around 75 has stepped away, at least for the moment. So I'm going to add into this position, but I'm going to put a buy stop order because I'm thinking there's still some sellers remaining. I'm gonna put a buy stop order at 75 Rand,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna put my stop just there or where this at around 65. I'm gonna pull this my stop loss to around 65 Rand, and which will be just below my current entry level. Or perhaps I will just put it at break even and risk another 2% on this position. Citrix 40. So with this one, I am trading on the lazy, and so if you want some alerts on the lazy, so I'm gonna alert with every event. We got a trigger which failed because we closed below that 15-day exponential moving average, and today we did look like we're gonna trigger again, but it didn't because we closed below
Sure.
that 15-day exponential moving average by a couple of cents. Literally, what is it? 4 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah, it closed below that 15-day exponential moving average by 4 cents. But when it closed above the 15-day exponential moving average, I'll send an alert. And if you want that alert, let me quickly get. It's on the links, the spreadsheet of
Oh,
which
yeah,
comes
yeah.
attached. Yeah, so I put it there. So just sign up on the Village Trader mailing list. You will get it there as I try to
Yeah.
pull.
The spreadsheet's linked from the email reminder and follow-up that goes out to all the participants.
Yeah, so I'll be when I get a trigger, I'll send an email confirmation. I'll send another email If we get stopped, I'll send an email, and if a trigger fails, I'll also send an email. So there's that. And last on my open trades is transaction capital. So it seems like there's a battle between the buyers and sellers between 26, 25 Rand and the 23 Rand levels. So one of them will eventually step away, like they did on Real Bafokeng. Hopefully, the sellers will step away, and then I'll add into the position, and my stop will be just below that support there, perhaps around the 22 Rand to 22 Rand level as we break through that 25. That's if we do. Actually, I wanted to remove the 15-day. Yeah, that's if we do break through that 25 Rand resistance level there. So stuff on my watch list is Mr. Price, nice ascending triangle. But if I jump back to the weekly chart, that is a nice round bottom there. Nice cup and handle. So I'm waiting for a breakthrough that 77. Let me just pull that down. That 77.90-ish level. I'm waiting for a breakthrough that, and my target on Mr. Price is projected upward and duplicate that line there. It's 250, 252-ish, which is a level that was resistance before. So my target on Mr. Price is that 250, 252-ish level, 250 level. Aspen, where's Aspen? Aspen looking good as well. Let me jump back to my daily chart. So it formed the bull flag. So I was waiting for the 150 break, but it formed the bull flag. So I'm gonna trade the break of the bull flag, risk 1% on the trade, and as it breaks the 150 level, add the remainder of the other 1% risk on this trade, and then my target is that 165 level on Aspen. However, that's a target for the bull flag. And if I jump back to my weekly chart, I want to target that the height of that range there. If I project that upward, takes me to that price support there. So I'm targeting that 246 level on Aspen there. And another one that looks good at the minute is Quilter. And what I like about some of these stocks, I have no idea what they're doing. Some of them I just know the names. Quilter, I didn't even know the name before I started trading these equities. Nice bull flag. If I extend the flagpole, come on, to those lows there. My target on Quilter, if it does break, is 36 Rand 90, which would most likely be a new high, and that resistance there worries me a little bit, but I'll still put my target at that 36.90 because I'm optimistic like that. And last but not least is SAPI. If I jump back to the weekly chart, nice one bottom, potential cup and handle, head and shoulders. If it does trace back to that 33 Rand, rather that 35 Rand support, it's a cup and handle, head and shoulders, round bottom. There's a lot happening that looks very, very bullish on SAPI at the minute. And the 60-week exponential moving average is not very far from crossing the the 30-week is not very far from crossing the 60-week exponential moving average, which I like very much. And as it crossed that, as we break that 46 Rand 30 resistance, I'm gonna get into this position, and I'm targeting 75 Rand 50 on SAPI. Not too sure why it's starting to look bullish, but
it's a nice looking chart. You can see from that low of April, the next low was higher, so you're getting those higher lows coming in.
And
the
higher
weekly
highs
chart.
as well.
Yeah.
Looking quite lekker. Unfortunately, I do have to wait for these to cross, and I do have to wait for resistance to cross. I can't rush into trades or preempt trades or anything of that sort. And
I used to, in my early days of trading, I would preempt, and I tell you, I don't think it ever worked.
Yeah, it never does. It never does. Because one, you're convincing yourself that the trade is going to work. Or even the risk part of the trade, you're not going to adhere to it either. Or rather, you're least likely to adhere to that risk component as well.
And then pull it back to my screen, because it turns out, continue. Turns out my little Nifty 50 is rocking along with $32 in profit already. 33. 34. I'm rich. I should take my money and run. This is, I mean, in essence, and this is, I mean, it's a purely emotional response, and it's terrible. But let's be honest, it's nice when you enter a trade and it goes in your direction almost straight away. It makes you feel like this is proper. So yeah, India's going. I had a quick squiz. The others aren't crossing. No, the US is still red, not confirming. So at the moment it's just Nifty 50. Which we shall leave in place.
Yeah, and a quick one. If you do subscribe to the Village Trader mailing list, I send out a weekly, every Monday, looking at the weekly charts to get a bit of like a zoomed out overview of what to look at.
Cool, lekker. Folks, more questions coming through? Nope, not seeing questions. Then we're in biz, we shall park it. Video will be up in a bit. You won't commit to exactly when, but it'll be up in a bit. Then we will be back again next week. Remember, the videos will be in the link. You can grab them there. The mailers go out. The links will be in there as well. You can grab them on Njabulo's YouTube channel, and we will park it there for the evening. Last point, there's a bunch of stuff which we did actually in the early days of lockdown. So back in May of last year, sort of psychology of trading, some trading techniques, etc., which you'll find on the Just One Lap website as well. Contact details for Think Markets. Question came to me during the day. Why Think Markets? The key, the major benefit here right now is you will note no commissions. So the initial attraction was no minimums, which is hugely important. A low rate is nice, but a minimum can hurt you. In this environment here, there's no minimums, and at the point for the South African market, they're offering no com at the same time, which just means that you can trade a smaller portfolio. You don't have to rock up with tens or hundreds of thousands of rands to make it economically viable. Yeah,
which was deeply critical for me, because I started this account at 1,000 rand and I continuously added into it.
Yeah, and even just a $50 minimum, every time you do 10 trades, your 1,000 rand is, 10 times 50 in, 10 times 50 out. Your money's gone and you've just spent it on transactions. So it's always hugely important.
Yeah.
Cool. Ladies, gents, we'll leave it there. Njabulo, appreciate the time. Everyone have a good evening further. We will chat again next week.
Cheers, everyone.